Hello, I'm Asif Farouk of Finextra, and we're here at Cybos 2014 in Boston. And today I'm with Kimmo Soramäki of Financial Networks Analytics. And Kimmo, you've written a research paper with Samantha Cook about global network payments flows. Can you tell us an overview of that research?
Yeah, so this was pretty much the first look into this data, which is a very exciting opportunity to work with something that no one has looked into before. It's an uncharted territory. So we really didn't know what we're going to find. So what we did is try to take a very broad overview of different topics that could be of interest, rather than going deeply into any sort of particular topic, but provide sort of like a little bit map for future research and what topics could be interesting in looking at these payments flows. So we look, for example, how the network structure has changed over time. We look at which countries are important in this network. We look at communities of countries and do a lot of different analytics that we show in the paper.
So can you tell me what surprised you in your research?
I think there were two things that surprised me most. One was the fact that usually everything grows, and in the SWIFT network the number of payment has been growing steadily over the time. But actually we saw that the number of links that we find in the network has been decreasing. And we wondered why that is. There's more and more traffic, but it's carried out on fewer links. And we looked at what those links were that disappeared, and they were mostly related to offshore centers. So we're wondering whether this is something to do with the regulation, which is quite interesting, so that there is such a drastic effect on network structure. I think the other thing that was really interesting for me in the paper was when we looked at communities of countries. So those are countries that transact more with each other than with countries in other clusters. And we found this sort of clear structure of pretty much 3 or 4 blocks in the world, where we found a very strong ex-Soviet Union bloc, where countries transact a lot with each other, then a European bloc, and then pretty much rest of the world, which is transacting with the US, and a small African bloc that emerged once in a while. And it's really interesting to see how these things change, sort of like geopolitics change the payment flows. So you see it clearly there as well. So that was an interesting finding.
So Kimmo, now your research and your study is complete. What's next?
I think there are lots of avenues you can go. Network analysis is a very interdisciplinary field, so there is, I think, interesting topic for political scientists looking at these clusters of countries and how they change over time. For physicists, looking how the network has grown and creating models out of that. For economics and risk analysis, to identify important countries or areas of the network that are less dense than they could be, providing opportunities. And this is the type of research actually that will be published in the new journal that I am founding, the Journal of Network Theory in Finance, and I hope that this paper will provide some good starting points for research on these topics that will be published there.
Okay, well, thank you very much.